Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about AI. Well, so many of you probably have questions about Chat GPT or Chat GBT, depending on what user you're using. And so many of you probably have a question about how is it upending our conventional wisdom about how our jobs are done, industries, and so much more. We're going to bring into the conversation patent lawyer John Rizvi to talk about this and even more. John, thanks so much for being with us. I think this is your first time on Live Now, but we wanted to do a segment on this because so many are talking about it, including Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. He says this will change our world. He was speaking with a German language newspaper. He says this will change our world. He said today they require, though, too much computation. They're not always accurate, but he acknowledged how groundbreaking it is. All right, first question, what is it? What is ChatGPT?
Okay, so ChatGPT, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And of course, what does that mean? It's a free online tool by San Francisco startup OpenAI, and it writes, it creates sentences, it creates paragraphs. You can have it write a poem, just an amazing array of written material that's completely different than anything we've seen before. Very different. Some people have likened it to a search, doing a search, but when you do a search on Google, you get a list of references, kind of like a bibliography, and then you have to do your own research to put a written summary together. ChatGPT completely skips that and provides that written summary for you.
Okay, so John, we know just this week Microsoft announced its Bing search engine. It will be powered in part by the ChatGPT AI technology. Google also recently announced what they're calling Bard. That's their ChatGPT competitor. So you see some of the major tech titans getting into this field. They want a share of this. What should we, I guess, portend from that?
Yeah, so it's going to be, it is going to change the world. I mean, I think it's a major change. It comes with some good and bad. I mean, I'm not, even though as a patent attorney, I mean, typically patent lawyers are really embracing of new technology, optimistic. However, it does have a lot of potential for, I think, replacing real intelligence with artificial intelligence. And I tend to think it's going to dumb down a lot of critical thinking because of the shortcut it provides.
Yeah. So, John, let's just give the viewers some examples of how this is being used, how it could potentially be used. Law firms are using it to write legal memos and court filings. Journalists are using it. I've seen articles being written. Also, college students, professors, faculty are concerned that college students and high school students could be using it to do their homework, essentially, to write their own essays. How do we tell the difference? How can you?
Absolutely. It has been referred, I've seen online ChatGPT referred to as Cheat GPT, because it's actually so good at creating this written material that it's hard to tell sometimes if it's written by a machine or written by a human being. So it is posing a threat, I think, to a lot of jobs that require processing large bits of information and not a lot of judgment afterwards. And it's to that extent, there's good uses. I mean, it's a huge time saver, and I don't think it's going to, I think what's going to happen, I don't think ChatGPT, even though they have passed a bar exam as a test using ChatGPT, so it's certainly gotten, I believe, a B-, B+ level on passing the bar exam. It's not going to replace lawyers, but I believe lawyers that are using ChatGPT or journalists that are using ChatGPT, content creators that are using it, are going to end up replacing people that are not, simply because it's such an incredible tool, such an incredible time saver, but it doesn't have the ability to think. So there still has to be fact checking. There still has to be judgment used, and that's really the worry, is that AI is making it a lot easier for people to speak without thinking.
Okay.
And ChatGPT is certainly allowing that.
So, John, you have kind of alluded to the fact that it is flawed. It's not perfect. And that's where maybe people, your contemporaries in your line of work in your industry of patent law, they're just as concerned. Do you think it could kind of, outstrip some patents that are already on the books?
In terms of when you say outstrip patents, like could it be used in
or make them obsolete, I guess.
Attorneys? Yeah, well, absolutely. I think it's going to certainly save an incredible amount of time because there's a part of a patent application called the background or field of the invention. And to provide a patent attorney with a head start, like you can simply have ChatGPT write that background portion, and then the attorney can review it. It's a huge time saver over someone writing it from scratch.
It's definitely, like Bill Gates said, going to change the world. It's still very, very new. John Rizvi, thanks so much for being with us, for explaining that kind of in layman's terms as this sweeps the tech world. We'll talk again. Have a good weekend.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew.